I guess it's a hard life wherever you go, and maybe it's just another morning here. But I'm looking for the time on a clock without hands, wondering where would I be, because I should be leaving the harbor by the banks of the PONTCHAR train, to drive across America up to the Montana backroads to meet a white freightliner loaded with Bethlehem steel from the southbound train at midnight in Missoula. Now wouldn't that be fine? But I'm not driving these wheels, 'cause I'm stuck high on the mountain top, stranded in the high ground in the small hours of the morning. It's 10 degrees and getting colder, and I'm feeling bluer than blue, shaking out the snow from the wind and the wheel of this Ford ECONO line. She's loaded with cotton, because cotton's all we got. She ain't going nowhere. There's only the speed of the sound of loneliness, and the angels to be my brave companion off the road. I wish it would rain so I could turn around, then maybe I'll move along this mountain of sorrow and get to the intersection with the Gulf Coast Highway. But for now I just listen to the radio, turning to radio fragile. Someone request a morning song for Sally, and what's that I hear? They're playing Michael's song. It's a song for remembered heroes, and it seems to talk to me while I'm listening. Then the ghost inside of me travel back to the heart of Indochine. I remember Joe Armstrong, my friend the flyer. He could play a 1937 pre-war Kimball singing the ballad of Robin Winter Smith, like Alabama's soft-spoken blues. And he had the art of a miner. He was the last of the true believers, always saying I'll never be the sun, so let it shine on me. And we never lost him in the sun, we lost him in the storms. When the outbound plane, he had to fly by night over the battlefield, and the wheels of that big blue ball of war hit the power lines that run across the Great Divide. He tried to call home on the road, and I can hear his ghost in the music, screaming Saint Teresa of Avila, there's trouble in the fields. I know it's too late, we're coming down in the rain. He knew then he was never going back to Ruby's arms, and never going back to Georgia. I lost a friend out in the madness, and now he's in heaven waltzing with the angels. When I returned from old Hanoi, I was about one plate shy of the sharp edge, so I moved to Deadwood, South Dakota for a simple life. But once in a very blue moon, when everything's up against the rain, I start to think, is this all there is? And that's I fought the law yelling, I love this town, but there are things I don't need. And these hometown streets, and maybe if I had a hammer, then one of these days I'll make them tumble and fall, so people don't forget about me. Sometimes for October reasons, I pour me a drink of tequila after midnight, and after 7 more drops from the faucet, I have to for the road. Then went away during like a San Diego serenade. I'd be a gal in outer, and a spin on my red brick floor with bird's eye view of the great fruit moon. And it would be good night, New York. One time I woke up on the morning train from here to here, and thinking this was not my way home, I got off at Bacon Street. I said to myself, tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown, because I'd heard that love's found the shoulder in this old town. And these 3 flights up in the late night Grand Hotel, if you're waiting on a dock, I got Marilyn Monroe in boots of Spanish leather. Now I'm not innocent enough to think love wore a halo, but anyone can be somebody's fool and believe sweet dreams will come. Although I knew from baby's last picture that he was nobody's angel. Eventually from a distance, in more than a whisper, I heard, are you waiting for love? Or is just a time of convenience? It can't be anything you need but me. So I rise to the occasion, and everything's coming up roses. But the trouble with roses, they are fragile, and before you know it they go gone. She said, are you tired of me, darling? And I awkwardly replied, money changes everything, and this feels like a bad seed. The cold hearts closing minds, but maybe tomorrow. She retorted, never mind, if I were a woman who wanted, you would have waved goodnight to a mother's dream, and bought some nickel dreams. And if you ever come up to Mississippi, please call me baby. Then I realized this party girl had been the women of the Phoenix, working in corners in St. Olaf's Gate. And she was not the loving kind. I guess that love is a hard waltz, so I don't wanna talk about love anymore. But if these walls could speak, they would probably say just so and tell me how I knew love when I met you. Met you down in New Orleans, way back when Ted loved Sylvia and Mary and Omi had little love affairs. The dollar matinee. Do you remember driving movies and dashboard lights? at the gospel and Tecumseh Valley, and how we fell in love at the fight and dime, the first time on our very own, in the fields of summer under the West Texas sun. And that day at the Roosevelt Fair, when the daddy said in his Lone Star state of mind, you can't go home again until you sing one for sister, play the last song for mother. Then later on the last train home, I stupidly said, you made this love a teardrop in such a beautiful way that it's truly something fine, but his heart needs some time alone. That was so long ago, and no, even now I can't help but wonder where I'm bound. There's still life in my dreams when I dream. The port in my window takes me back through these days, in an open book where I'm traveling to this part of you, to find love in the memory, hoping that there's light beyond these woods. So if wishes were changes, then I would change my life. If I could only fly to the sun, moon and stars, I would bring you Ireland and sing to you on Grafton Street with roses on the 4th of July. Because love conquers all, Julianne, and I guess it always will. With love, John Phillips, Griffith.